Hey everyone, just thought I'd share what I'm making today. I'm making some vases, but I'm using my plaster hump mould. And I just made it with this bowl, poured some plaster in, and then you've got a mould. You can just use this as well, just put some Glad wrap or cornstarch on it and use that as well. But I like to use the plaster, it's much easier to get the clay off. I've just rolled out a little slab here. I'm just going to smooth it once I clean my tool. With my favourite rib. And then flip it over and do the same on the other side. And I was thinking about pre-cutting this into a circle to make it easier for me. Got these I might use. It's hard to know what size I need. Just do the outside of that one. And we'll give it a go. Okay, pop that aside. Make sure you keep all your scraps because you can just wedge these back into a ball of clay and reuse these again. Now I've got my hump mould here and I've got this pretty thick because it's actually going to be in a pit firing, so I want it to be pretty sturdy. And then I'll just put this so it's sort of centered. And then you just sort of slowly press this down all around. And give it a bit of a tap. You can also cut some out, which I might end up doing, because I'm never very good at being patient. Actually looks like the perfect size circle for this. Yes, I'm going to cut some out here. So I'm just going to cut a wedge out. And that gives you just a bit more room to kind of smooth that to the mould. Just rejoin that. This is still pretty wet, so I don't need any slip. Oh, hello Dusty. You want to see what I'm doing? This is Dusty, everyone. Excuse me, can you get out of the way? Good girl. Right. Now, just smooth this down, fix up that join. Just scraping away a bit of that excess clay from the join to make it consistent. And then just making sure everything's pressed down to the mould. just going to cut off my excess around the bottom. That's looking good and really firm, and I'm just going to put my stamp on the bottom as well. Whoops, not like that. Like that. It's probably not perfectly centered, but I'm not about perfection. And then I'll just let that dry and set up a bit so that I can take it off without it losing its form, and then I'll make another one to join on top. So I'll see you once that's dried up. Hello, I'm back. I left this overnight and it's hardened up now on the mould, so now you can just lift it straight off. Comes right off. The only thing to be cautious of is don't let it dry too much, otherwise it will start shrinking and crack on the mould. So I'll pop this aside for now. Just going to give this a bit of a tidy up. Not that the inside really matters, but I am a bit of a perfectionist. Okay, that's good enough. You can see it's sort of holding its shape there. I'll clean the outside up once I've joined the other half. Now I'm basically just going to repeat the process for the top. So it's going to look something like this, and I'm going to put like a neck on it to make it into a vase. So I'll run through what I do next. I'll just set this aside for now. Bring this back. Just going to roll out a new slab of clay on my slab roller, and then I will be back. Got my slab here. Hopefully it's big enough. Okay, got my circle again. Okay, it fits. Hopefully I have enough for the neck as well, but we'll see. To the side for now, and then just to do the same thing I did on the other bit, put it on top. Probably end up cutting this one as well, but we'll see. And then just slowly sort of smush it down. 2 bits off this one actually and see how that works. Cut slightly too much off that one, but I'll make it work. Now I'm just going to kind of squish this down so it reaches the bottom. Obviously put the circle on a little bit unevenly on this one. Pretty good. Just got this little gap here. I'm just going to fill with some extra clay. The rest I can sort of squish down. Actually, this one might squish down too. Let me see. There we go. Hopefully that's not too thin on the bottom there, but we'll see. Just going to even up the bottom again. Keep my scraps. This one's pretty much good to go. I'm just going to cut the hole for the neck now and see if I can add that while it's on the mould. And then I'll let that dry. My faithful cookie cutters here. Thinking this size. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Cut that out. Perfect. See if I have enough clay here to do the neck. Where is my ruler? 1 second. Okay. So, don't feel like that one will be wide enough, but this one might be. Maybe not. Let's see. Okay. Let's give it a go. Oh yeah. Should be plenty. Okay. Now I am going to just attach this around the top. So I'll get my scoring tool. Score the top of that. Score the bottom of this. And to get some slip, Make sure it's the one that actually matches my clay. And I'm just going to glob this around. And then I'm just sitting this on top with a bit of pressure. And I'll add a coil to it as well, just to kind of blend it into the base a bit more. That was actually pretty much the perfect size. That was definitely a fluke. But I'll take the wings where I can get them. And yeah, I just cut down through both pieces at an angle like this. And it gives you a really nice seam to join them with. And score this again. This clay's pretty wet. I almost don't need slip, but I like to use it just in case. Down there. And then just push those together with a bit of pressure. Smooth out the join. It's quite a big neck, but we'll see what it looks like. Just smoothing the inside as well where it met. Just messed up that nice rim that I had going in. Okay. Clean up the joint a bit more. Now I'm just going to add a coil around the edge so I can sort of blend it down a bit more. Add a little slip. Some water around there. I made this quite thick because I want it to be quite a nice blend. Oops. Make sure you don't push your whole rim out. Don't need a tiny bit more. I'm just going to smooth this up and try and hold the inside at the same time so I don't push it out. This would be easier if I had chopped my long nails off. Just a hot tip if you've got long nails. This kind of blends it in nicely, but it also gives a bit of extra security to that join, especially because it's going to be pit fired. It's under a lot of stress. This will be my first pit firing, so I'm very excited to see how it turns out actually. Okay, I really should be using my banding wheel for this, but it's about 1 metre away and that seems too far to go and get it. Okay, I think that is looking pretty good. It's a bit hard to tell without the bottom on, but I think it should be proportionally quite good. I'll fix that rim up a little bit once it's drier. Now I'll just leave this here to dry, and then once I pop it off, I'll join it back to this bit. I'll just wrap this in plastic for the moment so it doesn't dry out too much as I'm waiting, and then we'll come back and join them. Hi everyone. I thought you'd all get a good laugh out of what I told you not to do, which was to leave this on the mould too long. And here's a prime example of why you don't do that. I thought about it as I was going to bed last night, and I thought, it'll be fine till the morning, and it wasn't. So I'm going to scrap this, start this bit again. I'll reclaim this so it's not a waste of clay, and I think I decided to make the neck using a smaller cutter anyway. I think that'll be a better size, so lessons learned. So I'll start this again. I'll roll out another slab now. Okay, let's try this again. Cut the hole for the neck. Smaller one this time. Something stuck in my clay here. Okay. Okay, now I think just want it a bit taller than that. So maybe like that tall. Okay, now we slip and score again. I'm recording a video. I can crop this out.
Taking the rest of the video.
Okay.
I might be forbidden then.
Okay.
How do you choose from here?
Clay's a little bit too dry, so it's cracking. Just going to pop some slip on, particularly around the edge up here. Okay, that's better. Okay. Then we just join it up again. Smooth it over. Try and smooth in the inside. It's very hard to reach though. The thing I love most about this Keen's white raku is that it's very forgiving. Like, it was probably a bit too dry It's just sort of healed itself, and hopefully it'll be fine once it's fired. Okay, now I'm going to get a bit of soft clay and add a coil again. And that's not soft enough, I'll just grab some softer clay. Okay, that's better. Oops. I'm just going to pop a little bit of slip around that joint just to help that coil bond a bit. And then smush this on. That's the technical term, smush. And just blend that back in. Okay, that's looking good. I definitely like that skinnier neck better, so it was good we had to redo it. Just got a few cracks appearing. I'm just going to put a little bit of soft clay where they're appearing just to patch it up a bit. Really, probably not best practice, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens in the kiln. Okay. Now, we'll leave it to dry again. Not too long this time, ideally. And I'm just going to put a plastic bag around the neck because that will dry quicker than the body. So just to stop it cracking separately. So just pop it around like that, and I'll leave it for a few hours and remember to check on it this time. All right. Much drier now, ready to come off the mould, and hasn't cracked. Now it just sort of like lifts out with a little bit of pressure. It's pretty good still. I'm going to leave it to harden up a little bit. I'm just going to clean up the insides now that it's easier to get to. Okay. Now I'm just going to leave this overnight to dry a little bit more, covered in plastic, and then I'll come back tomorrow and hopefully join the two halves together. Hey everyone, I'm back and I'm ready to join my two halves of my vase together. I got the bottom half, just kind of like leather hard now. You can still sort of mould it a little bit. And then the top half, which I've got here. probably like just under leather hard. It's be a little bit squishy still, but I'm sort of hoping that will help me join it because I can sort of move the sides to meet each other. But it's looking pretty good. No cracks this time. So I'm just going to join these together like this. And then I might add a coil around here just to kind of secure it a bit more. So first, score the edge. Get some slip, slop it on. Just like that, and then I'll score the base of this as well. It is a bit thin where I joined it there, but adding a coil should help with that. Okay, then just pop them on together. It's actually quite a good fit. And I'm just going to sort of push them together where I can. Now I've definitely got some gaps, so I will definitely need a coil around here. So I'm just going to grab some clay, but looks pretty good. I haven't made anything like this before, so it's a nice experiment, and hopefully it'll look good after it's pit firing. Okay, got some soft clay. Bit of a coil. Kept this thicker than I normally do just to kind of fill those gaps a bit more and make it super secure. Just gently push this over the join to start with. Some bits might need a little bit more slip. I like to use really soft clay for this because then it's really easy to just kind of like mould it into place and push it so you can get quite a nice shape from it. Now I'm just blending it in. I'll see if I can hold this up for you to see. Just blending it in, so starting with the bottom, and then I'll go up and blend the top. And basically just make sure there's not a big ridge here where I've added that coil. Unless you like that look, of course. And I'll just sort of do it quite rough to start with, and then I'll go over it with my rib to smooth that out more. So I'll just keep doing that the whole way around, but I'll do it like this so it's easier for me. Oops, it's a little bit soft there. Just have to be careful not to push my walls in too much. Just that one spot seems to be soft. Now once this is closer to bone dry, I'm also going to cover it in some Terra Sigillata. I think I'm saying that right. I haven't used it before, but I'm keen to see how it comes out. And I think I'm going to make another one without the Terra Sigillata, possibly covering it in some Stoneware 7 by Keen's, like a white smooth clay, to see how that turns out in comparison to the Terra Sig. It's very windy and rainy here today, so hopefully you can't hear how crazy the weather is, but it's a good day for pottery. Not much else. Okay, gone all the way around now, and you can see it's pretty rough, but I'm just going to clean my rib to start with, because they're always dirty when you need them. And then just kind of smooth that join and make it more of that kind of bulbous shape rather than a big stick out part. I tend to like squish my rib like this to hold it into the shape that I want as I take it round. And then you can sort of use that excess that comes off a bit to fill any gaps that you have, any little indents. It's almost like sculpting rather than slab building, but that's how I like to do it. This always makes me feel like a bricklayer, how they mortar the bricks in place. Got a bit of a bulge in there, but I don't think I'll be able to reach it. Let me see. Nope, I cannot reach that, so it's going to stay there. Oops. Now I've wrecked my rim trying to do that. Okay. Now some more smoothing. Gap filling. Okay. This is really just to get the main shape right, and I'll come back in with a sponge once it's a bit drier to fix up any of those kind of imperfections. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to tidy up this rim a little bit. Just squeeze the edge just to make it look thinner on top, even though it's not particularly thinner. Just gives it a nice, oops, round finish that I quite like. Needs to be wet enough to still pinch it though, so you need to do that before it's too dry. Okay. And this is what it looks like now. So I'm going to leave this to dry for probably a couple of hours and then smooth it over with the sponge and then apply the terra sigillata, and I'll show you what that process looks like. Okay, so my vase is all dry now. You can see it needs a little bit of smoothing, so I'm just going to smooth it with my Mud Tools sponge, my favourite sponges. I find the coarser one is better with the coarser clay. It doesn't like rub away kind of all the smooth bits. It keeps it quite nice. I'm just going to go with that, and then I will cover it with some terra sigillata. It's a bit awkward to hold and do this, but making it work. That's better actually. It's mostly just that joint that needs a bit of smoothing. And hopefully the terra sigillata will kind of smooth out the rest for me. What is rattling? Oh, that's better. Hopefully you couldn't hear that, but it was very annoying rattling going on every time I moved my sponge. Obviously I've got too many things on my desk. join's looking much better now. Just do the top section as well. Okay. Oops. Scrape some off with my nail, which always happens, even when I have actually cut my nails now. They just seem to always get in the way. Alright, that looks good. Oops. Okay, now we get to cover it in baby poo. Now, where do I even start with this? I guess from the top, and I might have to get a little brush just to get in that top of that section. You can see why the banding wheel comes in handy. If you've got like a lazy Susan at home though for the kitchen, you can use one of those too. I was using one of those for ages. It worked fine. It was a bit wider, so it was a bit in the way, but it worked perfectly. They're relatively cheap to pick up. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's get the top bit here. And I'm just going to get a little brush to get in that neck, just at the top. Okay. Now I'm going to do 3 coats on this, so I'll speed up the rest of them, but I'll do 3 more like that, then 2 more like that, and then 3 on the bottom. Once the coats are dried in between, and then they should be good to go. Hi again everyone. I just thought I'd show you my pit fired vase again. It's been bisque fired, which made it this beautiful colour, this red colour, and then been put through the pit firing, but as you can probably tell, it didn't work that great. It's more just like black charcoal smudges. You can see a little line where there was some wire around here, but I think it just didn't get hot enough to kind of set into the clay. So I think my plan is that I'm actually going to give this a bit of a clean and then potentially put it in my raku kiln and attempt to do some naked raku on it, maybe with like a branch of leaves, and try and kind of burn that into the side instead and keep this beautiful red colour. So that's the plan right now. I just thought I'd show you how it sort of turned out. It all held up, so my join must have been good enough. And I'll pop up a little short of what it looks like next stage, I guess, stage 3, which I don't normally go through. So make sure to subscribe, and I'd love it if you could like this video as well, but mostly give us a subscribe so then you can see how this ends up. And I'll see you next time.